My live. I am live. Ugh. Hello everybody. Welcome back to my weekly streams. I'm like super more. I'm trying to be more responsible and do it weekly. So every Sunday, like around 7, I'm gonna do a a stream. Or like 6:30, 7 or whatever. You get the idea. But yeah. Welcome to my Sunday streams. We are gonna keep playing Black Mesa today, which is the fan-made remake of Half-Life 1. And so last time, I think we were playing for like, we started last week. We were playing for like, what, like a couple hours, like 2 hours or something like that. And I went to the point where I passed like the whole 4th chapter and I did not get a weapon that I was supposed to get in there. Apparently there was I knew that there was like weapons in each chapter, but I forgot the first weapon you find is in the office complex at the beginning when you are in those rooms. You get one of the weapons there, and I thought I looked at every room, but I didn't. So we're gonna redo that chapter again. But the good thing is that we stopped on that chapter, so, and the chapters are not that long. But yeah, I hope everybody had a great weekend and week last week. And yeah, I hope everybody just is chilling and they're having a great Sunday. So yeah. So not unfortunately, we have to start this chapter all over again because I wasn't as thorough as I thought I would be. So yeah, let me put this a little down here because I feel like it's like right up in my face. Okay. Yeah, I think we have to start this over again. So yay! It was so super dark, like in front of me and where I am. So I'm kind of like, I'm a little jittery already from that. Perfect. Oh, my health's at 10.
Who's there?
I'm here. Okay. So yeah, I remember it was like in one of these like office rooms or whatever. Oh my god. Sorry. Also for all of those who have motion sickness really fast, I'm so sorry. I play this game with super high sensitivity. There's another one in here. Okay.
15%.
Ah!
30%.
Okay. That was just the ambiance. It's okay. Okay. Let's give him some juice like last time. You know what? It's fine. I'm gonna risk it.
Gordon, if I had known it was you, I would have let you in. Everybody's heading for the surface, but I think they're crazy. If we stay put, someone is bound to come and rescue us. Right?
I wonder what happens if I... Oh, I can't even break that? Okay. Always feed those little things. I feel like it's also something here that I can. Now I'm like over checking every room because I'm trying to find those weapons. Okay.
Are you seriously suggesting that all of these beings are here to dine on us?
Yes, I do believe that.
You're heading out there? By yourself? May God have mercy on your soul.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask a stupid question. I was like, why do I need to turn off the electricity when I went in, and it was because of the water obstacle hit. Ah, that is not okay. Never mind. Ah! I know you're here. Oh. I feel like you're alive. Yep. I remember last time that scared the fuck out of me last time. Okay. So there's nothing in there. Okay. Ah, damn it. Okay. Let's just explore.
The following message is transmitted at the request of local authorities. At 9:47 a.m. Mountain Time, a disaster of unknown type.
Ah! Oh my god, what the fuck are you doing? Where did you come from? What the fuck? Okay, whatever. Let's just... I was trying to listen to it for... Ah! The Lord... Oh my god. This one on fire, right? Ah! Oh my god! Stop! Stop! Stop it. Ugh. I stared at it too like a... Okay. There's ammo here. Ah. Ugh. Okay, I can't go in there. Also, if you're new here, I play games in English but with Spanish subtitles because it's easier for me to understand. So, for context, if you're new here, that's why there's Spanish subtitles. Because English is not my first language.
I need your help.
I don't think I did this last time.
One of these little buggers latched onto my buddy's head. We gotta get that thing off before.
Oh no.
Hey, good news. Help justify. Wait. What the hell? Off of me.
Oh my god, no, 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 no.
Thanks. I owe you one. Here, let me get this open.
Thank you.
I got some supplies in the back. If you want, go take a look-see, see what you can carry.
Okay, I can't. I know this is technically like a remaster, but this game would do incredible if they did like a Dead Space as treatment remake to it. I think it would do so good. But yeah, you know, I'm just trying to live my dream. of having like a potential thing for how. Can I not pick any of this up? Okay. Good. There it is.
What
16.
is that smell?
I like the the Gordon farted. That's what that smell was. Okay, I can't open that. Okay. We have a new weapon.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Let's
coming
get
with
the
me?
hell out of here.
Yeah. I'll just put you in a secure-ish location. I know you were good there, but I need the backup. You know what? No. No.
Okay? I'll wait here and help anybody else who comes by.
Okay, yeah. I want us to try to be as like as realistic as possible and not let any of these people die. Ah! Oh my god, 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 oh my god. Ah, fuck.
One down.
Oh my god, fuck this.
Nice one.
I feel like there's one more. That was pretty bad. Okay. There's none in here, right? Okay, good. Oh my god, I wasted so many shotgun shells. This is bad. Okay, you're gonna stay. Yeah, stay there. I'm gonna pick this up. I think this is a bad idea. Let me go here. Ah! Okay. Ah! Ah! Sorry, this is a very. Oh my god. Come on. There we go. The first time I did that, it was way better than this. I panicked a lot. But it's okay. Hey. I'm not gonna think for safety. I don't know why it's getting to me a little bit now than last week. I don't know why I'm like a little bit more jittery today. Also, I haven't found the G-Man yet, which is interesting. Because I know he's like in every chapter, but I don't know where he could be. Also, the way I realized that I didn't have the shotgun when last time I finished the stream was because I kept picking up shotgun shells as like loot in like wherever area I was, and I was like, well, that's weird. Am I getting the shotgun soon or not? And I didn't get it. So I was like, okay, I definitely missed something in that chapter.
Power 15%.
Okay. Oh. I think, dude, he's dead. Oh my god. Okay. I'm just gonna wait until these little things, Okay. Back here again. Oh my god. Okay. Ah. Okay, there's none here.
Power 45%.
So I can't like shoot at that. Oh, oh no. Okay. What up, man?
I heard screams up ahead. You first. See you later.
No, 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 no.
Let's get this over with. Oh, these things give me the heebie-jeebies.
I feel like he's also like on those TVs
Happy
too.
trails, you poor bastard. Sorry.
Go. You're good.
Yeah, let him have it.
Is there another one here? Could be.
Let me get out of your way. Oh shit, not good.
I'm gonna use this one. Aw. Erwin.
Holy shit. That thing tore them to pieces. I don't think we should stick around.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I remember, okay, on Sunday last week, I left him in this room. And I kind of ended up regretting it because I know some guns are gonna spawn in here. Yep.
What would you even call these things?
One
That was
left.
awkward.
Oh, alright. Alright, whatever. Ah! Oh my god, no, I was right!
You should see. You should see the other guy. You go on without me.
I'm leaving you here.
Yeah, we might stand a better chance if we team up. Excuse me.
Okay. Oh, okay, whatever. I'm just trying to look for extra ammo. You in here? Oh, pick that up. Didn't. Leave it back here.
No
Excuse
hard
me.
feelings, right?
No. No hard feelings. There's nothing here. Can you just come here?
I'm waiting right here for you.
Power 50%.
Okay, I guess I can do it. You know what? Fuck it. Come on.
All right, I'm ready.
Go. Um. Yeah.
Here,
That's
let me
her.
get out of your way.
Okay. Um. Okay.
Reload, Doc. Oops. Sorry.
I'm saying okay a lot.
I'll secure this area.
Yeah. Go up. Yep. Okay. Ah! Oh my god! Holy shit! Okay. There's literally no other way to do this. I keep hearing like static from like a random TV, and I don't even know where that could even be. Or it might be just like the game messing with me. Okay. I'm gonna play without my glasses a little bit because it's kind of giving pressure to my head. Um. Soda. Oh my
What
god.
are you still doing down here? Get topside. I hear troops are coming in to save us.
Come with me.
I got your back.
Mm. Oh, it's the cafeteria, huh?
That's right. Chow time's over.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I forgot about these fuckers. Okay, everybody's dead.
Oops. Sorry. I'll stick around out here while you go check things out. Don't get too lost, huh?
Yeah, there's something in here for sure. Throw this. Ugh. I'm also like doing the thing that Dead Space does, which is like you stomp them afterwards. Oh, thank God. And you can't do that here. Pick up my wrench. Don't worry, ma'am. I protect you. It's another one. Can I? Okay. All right. Whatever. I can't open that one. I think this is the right way I have to go. Okay. Oh. Sorry. I need to stretch. I've been like, the more I'm like, I'm like getting into like the shrimp formation. Oh, that was really loud. Oops. Okay. Right. Yeah. I just came from this way. Come on. I remember this part being super complicated. Well, at the time, right? And that was pre-portal me. Can I open this? Oh, okay. Alright. Oh god, that's one of the fucking things. Oh my god. Ugh. It's very good that I went back for the I came back for the shotgun. I can't do that. Okay, there's a wrench there. I think I know where to go. What do you want? Stop. Oh my god. Okay. Fucking kidding me. Oh, maybe I don't have to go all the way over here. Okay. Great. What was the point of this thing? Went too far. Okay, I did it right. Now I get up here. I would assume so. I would assume that this is what I have to do. Okay, whatever. Ah! Okay. But yeah, it is. Okay. Well, oh, I went way too far. Alright, good. I don't. Okay, so the first time I played this, it took me so long to figure that out. I feel like there's something in here. Hold on. Oh my god! Ah! Ah, you little bitch. I feel like at one point there's like actual like
40%.
not Vortigons, just like the crab head people. I forgot the names that like just are in the vents. And I also played this game with 0 audio, so I wasn't as like tense. Because I don't even think this game is one of the scary ones. I just think it's just such a tense game. Which is really good, but I need to be very careful with my stress and tension dosage. Can I shoot this? I'm gonna waste a bullet, huh? Alright. Oh my god, holy shit, I almost went in there. The standing man. I can't really, I like, that's just, yeah. That's how I feel now when like I'm hearing it, that all these noises, it's freaking me out. Okay. Okay, civilians.
Freeman!
Hello.
Good heavens! You gave me quite a scare.
Don't count on the cavalry finding us down here, Doc. We gotta head for the surface.
But with all the elevators out of order.
We can still climb.
Hell yeah, man. Do you want to come with me, Mr. Science Person?
You go on ahead. I'll catch up.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'll wait here.
I have to go alone?
Ready when you are, Doc.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Feel like
Will
they.
we ever make it out of here?
Yes. Don't worry. Leave it up to me. Oh, they would have shot me by now.
Hey, check
Fuck! Oh my
These
god!
things give me the heebie-jeebies.
That's the thing, like, I think it's because since I've played it, I'm like way too relaxed. Oh no, oh no, no, no.
Sorry, sir.
No! Oh, there's one here. Are you alive? Oh my god, thank god. Okay. Okay. The reason I started panicking is because I didn't want him to die. Let me... I'm gonna go in here, actually. Wow, that sounds amazing right now. Like like a Pepsi. So, would you guys be interested in a Black Mesa burrito? Would you look at that hamburger? Are those supposed to be yellow pickles and tomato? Okay. I guess I'm going the right way. Alright.
I'm gonna stick around here and gather up some supplies. Then I'll try making my way up.
Good job. I'd rather also just him stay stay there. Mm,
Hey, does this vest make me look fat?
no, it doesn't make you look fat. I've never. That's pretty good. That's super funny. Oh man, that's incredible.
You're thinking what I'm thinking.
You're thinking that the vest, you look fat in it, and you don't look fat. You look fabulous. Like all the workers from Black Mesa, you look fabulous. Okay, bye. The fuck am I supposed to do this? You know what? Do that. Let's just do the old reliable
Did
and
you see that thing with the missing leg?
I did. I'm gonna.
I can't hold on much longer.
No! Don't let go. How the fuck am I supposed to help you? Oh god. Oh man. I feel like when I start leaving. Can I go up there? Let's try something for fun. I don't feel like I can make it that far. Ah, oh my god, I did make it. Yeah. Oh my god, holy shit. Whatever. I just want to know what was out there. We're gonna try again. Okay. I don't know how I did it last time, but we're gonna do it again. Okay. Oh my god. There's no way I did it that one time and then I couldn't do it again. Sorry, I don't like reloading, but I saw like the panels up there and I want to know what's in there. And I don't want the save file to have how many times I died. Oh no! I exited the game by accident. Oh, give me a second. Oops. Put that up. Damn. Okay. Last one. This is the one that's going to count. Oh god. I was here last when I did it. At least we made it to the thingy. And now I just have to jump to the panel, which... Oh, there we go. Oh, this is freaking... The frame rate's tripping me out. Okay, we're gonna take care of the elevator in a little bit. What's down here? Okay. The frame rate is kind of off for me a little bit now. Oh my god, yeah, this is just another way to go up here. No worries. I'm assuming I can get in here. Okay. Okay, new chapter. It took longer than I thought. Okay. This is my when I accidentally left the game, the frame rate got really weird. Mm. I'll get used to it. Oh no! Holy shit, what the fuck was that? At least I can get in there. Okay, I can get in there. Oh, oops. I feel like that thing's gonna...
High security materials storage facility.
I don't want to throw any... damn it. Also, I don't know if the quality is affecting how it looks on stream, because it's looking kind of not as smooth as it's supposed to look, but it's not that bad. But I hope it doesn't affect how it looks on the actual stream. Oh my god. Oh my god, okay. Whatever. Let's go. Oh my god, okay. Ah! To this side?
Depleted.
God, got rid of that. Oh man. You can't like use them to like... Stop it! Stop! Mhm. Oh my god. Stop it! I'm gonna close the door. Oh, I can't do that. Alright, whatever. I have a feeling this is gonna get pretty tough. Oh, yep. Hmm. Okay. Well, we made it. It's okay. I didn't panic, thankfully. Okay. Double check the cafeteria for some ammo. Okay, there's nothing here. Nothing by the tables. Oh, this is really tripping me out. This is lagging a little bit, but oh man. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is getting. Is it better now? Oh, okay, yeah. Nope, never mind. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like if I do this, it'll. Oh man, I feel like it'll just go to like a smaller screen. If I can find it, and now I can't find my screen. Oh, okay, yeah, that's way better. I just had to bump. I bumped down the quality just by 1. Yeah, okay, that's better. But I don't know if now it doesn't look the same on the actual. Because like it was really like it looked fine, and then it just started really getting laggy for me. So I need to check if like it looks fine. I think okay. I think it doesn't look that bad. Yeah. Let me just assess the room really quick. Okay. Alright, that worked. Good. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Fuck. No, I'm sorry. You're gonna kill me first. I remember just having a way harder time doing this. Okay. I spoke way too soon. Stop it. Oh my god. Can I close these? Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I didn't know about the other turret. God. Alright. Closing the door so no one chases me. Unless they're like fully aware. Okay. So they're not aware.
Don't cross the beams.
I wonder if I do this to be. I wonder if I jump over them, they won't trigger. Oh my god! Holy shit! I slipped. Nope. Oh, I don't like that you can slip with this. Am I in a safe enough spot? Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything?
We're safe now. Sure. Of course. Oh, these are okay. So now I get it now. Red is just sensors, and then blue is an actual like an actual like detonator.
Don't you think
go
we
on
should
ahead.
wait
I'll
here
catch up.
for a while?
Yes. I just want to
I'm
talk to
sorry.
you.
What?
Oh my god, where do I go? Oh. Yeah, I can get under that.
Attention.
Power 15%.
Now under military command.
Oh no. The thing I need the most are shotgun shells. This part was pretty bad.
Power 30%.
Okay, there's a scientist there. There's no military here.
Rescued at last. Thank God you're here. No!
Do I fuck with this in any way, shape, or form? Whatever.
Power 45%.
Excuse me. Oh, that's an explosive. I know I had a quick save here. Let's overwrite it. So I have a feeling this is gonna get pretty bad.
Don't shoot! We're with the science team!
Oh my god, you're right here. Oh my god. Okay, that didn't hit me that bad. Also, I can't aim, which sucks. I might be stressing some people out because I'm not taking cover. Are you upstairs? Where are you? Oh my god, no, 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 no. Oh my god, holy shit. Right here. I'm talking to myself. Oops. I think that's everybody. That was bad, I'm sorry. As you can see, I am very, I'm just gonna go in instead of just actually being tactical about it. Ironically enough, I'm more tactical in like, in other games. Okay. That's full, that's full. Yeah, this is over.
Emergency uranium containment team 2, sector D.
I think that's where I am. Shit. Okay. I always wondered, I might look it up on Reddit later, like why this, because I don't know if this is the Combine or if this is just like the normal military trying to contain what's happening in here, just in here. Because the whole purpose of the military being is that what happens here doesn't come out, but I don't know if that is just the normal government or the Combine from 2. I think the answer is really simple. I just wasn't paying attention in the first game. Well, I thought the Combine was like a new thing. And it might really not be. It might just be this is the first time we see them. We just don't know about them. So yeah. Ooh.
Turret maintenance team. Report to Central Command and Communications Center.
So I never realized how creepy the voice from the like that announcement from the turret thing, like the military like announcement voice in the game is like very Uncanny Valley-esque sounding, which is really creepy. Okay. Oh. Okay, we can keep going. So those are actual detonators. I think this way there's something. Like there's no. Alright. Oh, no, okay. Interesting. I don't think I can do anything here right now. I think I'm gonna go on this way. Oh, wait. I can pick up. That didn't work how I wanted it to, but. Okay. I think I can get through here without triggering any of these. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh fuck, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god, that was so stupid.
Medical systems
Oh, girl, whatever. Oh my god. that the actual military? Yep. Oh my god, this is bad. What the fuck am I thinking? I just gotta think about it.
Morphine administered.
I'm like moving my head. Jesus. Okay. What I got in here?
Atomic biological chemicals alert.
That was better.
Power 15%.
Fuck are you? Holy shit, what the fuck? Oh, I wish I had that fucking hand grenade. I'm not that good at FPS games, as you can see. Those are not my strong suit. Oh. Excuse me. Excuse me, sorry. Ooh. Oh, alright.
Power 15%.
I think that's it. There's more here, I'm pretty sure. Oh. I think I gotta go that way, but let's just survey the whole room really quick again for some supplies. Um Oh my god, that always scares me. Okay, no matter.
MESA announcement system now under military command.
Also, I know it says like military command, but you never know if that's like the actual. Because I don't know if like is the Combine like the. I might have to look it up later, but is the Combine like the Combine is the government in this universe? I'm pretty sure. I might not be, whatever. I'll look it up. Oh god. Oh, I have to. Oh, I go outside now. This is bad. Oh my god. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Do I have to just go to the other side? What the fuck? Yeah, I guess so, huh? Whatever. Oh my god. Fuck. Fuck. I'm gonna actually die. I'm gonna die. Ah! I'm going back inside. Okay. I'm gonna stay here. That was bad. Oof. The G-Man here? Nope, he's not here. Alright, whatever. Okay. To prep. Oh, alright. Where do I go? Where do I go? I forgot about this part. Yeah, at least I'm protected here. For now. Where do I go? Oh my god, where do I go? This is bad. Do I have to get in the car? I have to get in the car, huh? Hmm. Okay, I'm just gonna treat this as the sacrificial uh Whatever the fuck we're gonna do, we're gonna figure out where we're gonna go. Or I'm gonna figure out where to go. Just gotta stretch. Also, my fingers are starting to hurt a lot because I'm playing. I don't play usually on mouse and keyboard, so. Okay. Just gotta go straight. And then I don't know where to go from here. Do I have to go in here? Let me see. Oh, yeah, I do, huh? That is so weird. Right. Yeah, I'm getting there. It's very interesting. I don't have any shame in this. I'm gonna look it up. Because it got really confusing there. What chapter am I? We got hostiles. We got... Okay. Let's see. Let's see if this is gonna help. Okay, yeah, there is a bunker in there that we have to do. But I don't know which bunker. Is it this one right there? I gotta get on a better view so I can... I had the flashlight on that entire time. There's a bunker. I don't know where it is. It's on that side. It's gotta be that bunker. I just don't know where to go yet. Whatever. I'm just gonna go over here. Doo-doo. Oh, here we go. Oh my god, get in. We made it, and it wasn't the sacrificial one. Woo! Holy shit. Okay. That was pretty bad, huh? Oh, I think I gotta hurry up. Oh my god. Jesus. Okay. Oh my god, this is where I'm gonna...
Seek medical attention.
That's where I made it. We got that? Okay, we gotta hurry. Okay. Oh, holy shit. Okay. Okay. That wasn't that bad. Oh my god! Let me do one of these. Sorry. Excuse me. Am I going the right way? What the fuck? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh my god. I feel so much pressure from my glasses. I think we're still in that chat. Yeah.
I've killed 12 dumbass scientists, and not one of them's fought back. Sucks.
What the fuck am I supposed to do? Okay. Oh, I see. No, I just got in from there. Oh. Yep.
Well,
Oh,
so
hello.
much for the government. Their idea of containment is to kill everyone associated with the project. Judging by your hazard suit, I'd say you were part of what went wrong. Isn't that right? Now look, if anyone can end this catastrophe, it's the science team in the Lambda complex at the opposite end of the base. With the transit system out, I couldn't tell you how to get there. But there's an old decommissioned rail system somewhere through here beyond the silo complex. If you can make it through the rocket test labs, you might be able to worm your way through the old tunnels to track down whatever is left of the Lambda team. You can trust them. You can trust all of us.
Yeah. Very sweet of you. Depends if I go in here. Okay, I guess I can't go in there. Thank you.
What is that sound?
Please don't die. Oh my god. Silo, dude, what's in here? Mm-mm. Last pit. Oh, I hear something. I didn't see it. That was very stupid of me. Okay. Honest mistake. Oh, what the fuck are you doing here?
Power 15%.
Okay. At least I killed it like right before I got down there. Ba, 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 ba. Is the elevator? No, not yet. Oh man. That's fine. Oh. Something here maybe. This. Oh my god, is this that part? Or am I? Ha! Oh, am I back at the elevator? I don't like that sound. I remember I went through the elevator, so I'm definitely taking an alternative route. No, no, no. The music is freaking out. Oh, this is the tram. Okay. I'm gonna take care of business before I get on that tram. Okay, you know what? I guess I gotta take the tram. Okay. Ugh, I need a break from my we have. I feel like we get more weapons like later on. We're not getting them. I feel like we're not gonna get them yet. Okay. Ugh. Oh my god, my fingers hurt. Okay. There it is. Okay. Uh-oh. There we go. Figured it out. I remember this fucking. Okay. I was gonna be like, I remember this pop being super chill. That is the worst, like straight up, the worst NPC is that thing. No, oh my god. Fucking hate those things. I don't know why, but like out of all the games I play, that's like the worst NPC. And the Dead Space, just like those floating head thingies that like spit out venom at you. Oh my god, I hate those things. Oh, no, no, no! No! Oh my god, holy shit. I almost fell in there. That's crazy. Oh god. Okay, is there something in here? I wasted way too many shotgun shots. Oh, I don't have that part. That's pretty bad. Oh my god, no! Oh, thank god. Oh my god, I almost had a fucking heart attack. Okay. I think good to go. Okay. I know there's like a pot in the desert that's coming up soon, and I'm dreading that whole sequence because I remember I had a really hard time. Oh my god, what the fuck are you doing here? Ah. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just keep this. Something really cool is that if you are near, you know, like radiation like that, in this remake at least, it gets like super grainy, which is, I think it's a cool detail from what I remember.
Power 15%. Power 30%. Chemical detected.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Whatever, it doesn't matter, I'll take it, it's fine. How do I get over there? I need more ammo for my AR. Yeah, that's really cool. It gets super grainy the more you're in like Okay, we made it. Oh, I didn't make it to that other side. Fuck. Whatever, it's okay. I think I have another time to to get more like battery energy things. Okay.
Warning. Hostile biological forms detected in Silo D.
Oh, fuck. Oh my god! Ugh. Oh man, I'm gonna keep this on because I feel like there's more here. Oh my god, ah! Oh my god, I'm in this part. Okay. This part's rather rough.
Muscle, fire the rocket engine. Destroy the damn thing before it gets any larger.
Yeah, let's do this really quick. What's up, man? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Can I get in here? Nope. Okay.
Malfunction. Main propulsion disengaged. Power and fuel system. Please report status.
To get the rocket. We're gonna try to make a break for the fuel innings. You with us?
Yes. I'm with you, dude. Hold on. Oh my god, I gotta... Okay. How many do I have? I have 10 of these. Okay. I was just there. Oh. Okay. So it's with... It can hear us, so I have to get through that door in the bottom. Let me... I'm gonna overwrite that save for... Okay. I do this a lot when I know I'm gonna do something super important. I quick save right before, so I don't have to do all of the things again. Just test it out. Oh my god. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Ah, no! Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking die. Oh my god, that was bad. That was pretty bad. Can I close this door? No.
Minor fracture detected.
Okay. Um. Okay. Where are you?
Minor lacerations detected.
This is pretty bad. Okay. I've been saying that the whole night here. Okay. The shotgun. I guess I remember this part had a lot of the dog thingies. Oh, hi, Essie. Essay? Or Essie? It doesn't matter. Hello, welcome. Oh, oh. Oh, wait, I did it. Oh my god, what the f— Yeah, I did it. Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't need that. Ah, oh my god. Okay, okay.
Mission completed.
Stop, 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 stop.
Lacerations detected.
Okay. Uh. I think this was the whole point of this chapter, was I needed to get down here. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I had a really chill weekend, and I'm doing just a chill Sunday stream before starting up the week. And I hope you had a good weekend too. Welcome. I'm doing a Black Mesa Half-Life thing because I think Half-Life 3 is gonna happen. And it'll never happen, but I just like to play with the idea and fall into the meme. And I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do here. Where are you? I saw you. Half-Life 3 is just around the corner. It is. I can definitely feel it in my bones. Judging by the music, I'm going the right way. Yeah. But yeah, I'm playing into the— I have the theory that it'll come out because they announced the GameCube. You know, that Steam Cube machine and whatever, and I think that they're gonna do either Portal 3 or Half-Life 3. They have to do like a game with it so they can promote, oh, couch co-op or whatever it is that it's supposed to do. Either or, I'm gonna be really happy. Half-Life and CS are the reason I got into gaming. I got a gaming PC eons ago. Yeah. I have a PC because of my job, like, to use it. So I take advantage of it, and then I use Steam and Xbox Game Pass there, and I just play anything I haven't played on PC there. It's really good. And I got— Half-Life was recommended to me by my senior, by my job boss. So it was really cool. GameCube has 6 sides. If it has 6 sides, Half-Life 3 times 2 confirmed. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's gonna be Half-Life 3 and episode 3 of those episodic things they did for 2. I went the wrong way. No, I don't remember. I don't remember where to go. I don't know where to go now. But yeah. Like it's fueling my— I feel my delusion that it'll happen. Maybe? I guess I'm where I'm supposed to be. Oh my god! Ah! I don't want to keep using shotgun shells. I need them for... Because I know that when I leave this room, there are going to be a lot of hound dice there. Oh, exhaust. Oh, okay. Anyway, yes, I'm very excited for the GameCube and potentially Half-Life 3. Or even, honestly, I think even Portal 3 is gonna be so good. Because it'll be like, you know, that will be the perfect game to promote with that. I'll be happy with either or. Obviously, I would prefer Half-Life because you know, it'd be really cool. Oh my god.
Mission depleted.
Okay. Okay, I got more shells. I'm gonna reload before I take care of business. That didn't do anything. That's it? Okay. Oh, okay. Mm. Oh god. This fucking thing. I know this thing turns on eventually. Ah! No, I don't want to be on the blade. This is it. Oh my god. This shit sucked. I have to hurry up. Oh my god! How the fuck do I get up there? I have to like actually run so fast. I have to be fast. I have to be fast. I have to be fast. Okay. I did it. I think I can like... I'm gonna be wise about this and I'm gonna just save. Yeah! Okay. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go now. Oh, here. What the fuck? To here? Come on, come on. Okay. What? Okay. Block path.
Minor lacerations detected.
Oh my god, you little shit. You alive? Yep. I'm so sorry. I said this in the beginning of the stream. I'm really sorry if this is gonna give if this gives anybody like motion sickness. I play with like a super high sensitivity, specifically these games. Portal 2, like I play Portal with super high sensitivity. So I'm sorry for the motion sickness. If it's too much, let me know and I'll change it. Stop it. Oh my god.
Seek medical attention.
I'm working. Oh my god. Alright. That took care of itself.
Power 15%.
Not ready. What are you doing here? Stop. I'm at 20. Oh, that's pretty bad. Okay. Let's check. To be honest, I genuinely think I'm in the right way. I'm going the right way. Like I'm where I'm supposed to be. Because I don't, or I'm either like figuring it out super fast. Okay. How do I do? How do I know it's ready? Ah, now I can pick it up? Okay, whatever. There we go. Okay, I have more grenades. Oh, oh yeah. It's this little valve thing. Okay, that's good. This is very good. Without shotgun shells, we are set. Oh no. Oh, I'm back where I started. Okay. Yeah, I do have to prep the shotgun then. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just going back. I'm going back. I don't know why. I remember the first time I did this, I remember like a bunch of hounds just trying to chase me there. I believe I have to go further down. I'm not gonna go over there. Okay. Okay. This is where those fuckers are. It's crazy that I'm taking cover and this thing is still— oh my god, you've gotta be kidding me. Oof. This is where the hound I saw, I'm pretty sure. I wonder if I come back out, it'll— nope, okay. I have to wait until I'm out. I haven't seen the G-Man. Watch him pop out in front of me right now. Oh my god, that would be awful. That would scare— actually, that would actually scare the shit out of me. Also, the first time I played this a while ago, I was terrified of the G-Man because like at the beginning I was playing normally like how I am now. But the thing that was like, you know, I was chilling until I got told that the G-Man's just watching you the entire time that you play this game. So after knowing that, I got super tripped out and like scared, and now I like now when I played it the first time, I was like just like super freaked out the whole time playing it. What there they are. Watch this. This might go awful. They're fucking sleeping. Oh my god, it didn't work, it didn't work. But I did that on purpose. I was trying to like, you know, not let them know what I was about to do. Can't believe that actually worked. I was too scared to just be near them, I guess. Oh, okay. Really? That didn't work? Okay. There you go.
Power 50%.
Okay. Every time I have a gut feeling about something, I'm like, I'm just saving. Here, would you like some tanks? Oh god. Oh no, 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 come on. Oh, fuck. Why can't I go? Oh my god. I hate these fucking dog things. Ugh. I know it's like, I know it's also me not knowing how to like react. I freak out really fast. But they always like, because they're smart. I think that's why I can't stand those NPCs. They're pretty smart about how they attack you. Same as those floating baby heads in Dead Space. So that game did a really bad number on me. Like in a good way. That game's great, but it freaked me out. Oh god, I have to jump. Whatever. Whatever. See what happens. Oh, okay, okay, there's some stairs. My god. Gabby.
Don't forget to reload. I hope no one expects me to go snipe the generator.
No.
Smithers went down there and never came back.
Well, I'm sure Smithers is fine. Okay, you're in charge of that. Oh my god. Okay. Du.
Major fracture detected.
Let's get rid of this dude first. Okay, I have eight shotgun shots. Hello. Is there anything in here? Oh my god, oh my god. Okay.
This is my hiding spot. I'm not moving until the situation is drastically improved. Now go away and don't tell anyone I'm here.
This is like the last place you want to be, but okay. Good. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have to go back. Oh, what the fuck are you doing? I'm sorry. I really don't like killing the Vortigaunts after knowing that they're homies.
Excellent. Someone has restored all power.
Huh?
Again in no time.
How do I go up? Oh, I forgot about this. Again, also, like a straight up like Silent Hill 2 Dead Space-esque treatment on this game, like for a remake, would also be like incredible. Okay, yeah, I think I just have to go back. all I'm thinking right now is like, where's the G-Man? Yeah, okay. I think there's some I have to fight here again. Right? Alright. Oh my god, I forgot about this part. I don't like the music because then I'm gonna like do so bad. Okay. I just have to go back. Yeah, I have to go back. Okay. Let's see if this works. Ah, no! Whatever. It doesn't matter. Oh my god, this is pretty bad, see? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm throwing it where it literally... Oh, thank god. Okay, I made it back. I'm at 7 health. Ah, that's pretty bad. Okay. The good thing is that we made it back, and it doesn't matter because look what's gonna happen.
it's true. If it bleeds, you can kill it.
That's right. It's a G-Man. Do you want to stay
I
here?
sure hope there ain't more of those things growing around the base.
Where do I go? What?
Jenkins is at peace now. I can feel it.
Where do I go? Oh, I think I have to go where that guy was, that security guard was. Right. Go here. Where do I have to go down there? Yep. Of course. Of course. Oh my god, I want the health. I have to be very, very careful so I don't die in this part. I'm just gonna double. Just double. It's always good to double. To do a double. I think I can use this underwater. I need to. Okay, I gotta think about my plan. Ah. Okay. Last bit. I'm not even like halfway through the game, I think. Last bit, yeah, and like we're in chapter 6 out of 20 chapters. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, there's no other way but to go down? Question mark? I can't swim, apparently. Okay. Let's do this. I'm saying a lot. I need to I need to stop doing that. Oh, awesome. Oh, I forgot I was like at 7% of or 7 health. This is good. Okay. Now we're gonna save that so we know that we're not, you know, this is all waste. Okay, now we can do it. Oh my god.
Hazardous radiation levels.
I did all that shit for just to fall in the pit. Okay. No, I back. Oh my god.
Hazardous radiation levels. The vital signs are dropping.
Oh, no, no, no. Okay.
Minor lacerations detected.
Oh my god, I feel like I wasn't gonna make it there. Let's see. Oh, I know where I'm gonna go now. I think I'm gonna be at the desert area thingy. Okay. I really hope I'm not. I don't know. I remember this game being like a nightmare sometimes. And there's another one. Hmm. Power up. Mm. Oh no! This one was pretty bad. Okay. I can't beat this thing unless I absolutely know for sure. I know the G-Man's here. Hold on, where is he? There he is. Stop smiling at me, you fucking creepazoid. Oh, no, no, no. Oh my god, no. Oops. Ah! I was distracted. Oh, hold on. It's doing that weird. Doing that weird thing again. Sorry. Oh, come on. You have to do some troubleshooting again. So every time I accidentally leave the screen, it gets really glitchy, and then I have to like change the frequency. Yeah, see, now it's better. I have to like go back and forth with the quality of it, so it doesn't have like that weird frame rate motion. Okay, I have to go in there. Okay. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, holy shit, oh my god, 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 get in there. Go, 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 go. Did I make it? I did make it. Oh my god. Oh my god! Ah! I made it. I'm gonna take out my pistol for this. What the fuck? Oh, that's a bad idea. It's a pretty bad idea. Also, okay, so that's... I didn't know the G-Man dipped the scene after the cutscene, and then I thought if like the minute the character or like the minute you went in, it would like, you know, he would leave. But he doesn't, and it creeped me out because like obviously it was probably me being a little bit more like hyperfixated on it, but the little smirk he had, because I couldn't tell because of the graphics, freaked me out a little bit. I gotta go down there, huh? Do one of these. Oh.
You don't know how close you were to getting one between the eyes.
Yep.
Listen,
Same.
mister, if you can get the power on, that train down there will take us to the surface. I would try myself, but it's a long way down to the generator room. And there's things in the way.
Oh man. Okay. He was here. Yeah, the G-Man was here. He was staring at me right here. Okay. Don't worry, sir.
Don't
We will.
want to jump the gun or nothing, but looks like you can handle this one yourself.
It's okay. Just stay here and rest. Let me close the door. I can't do that. That is so cool. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Oh my god. You little shit. Oh, I guess I can't use that one, huh? Oh my god, what the oh, oops, there you go. Oh, it's the red. Okay, doesn't matter. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. This is driving me crazy. Let's heal right here. Oh my god, come on! Never mind. Okay. I'm just gonna do one of these to be safe. Ah! That was fun. No, no, no! Oh my god, I was just getting ready. I'm sorry. Oh my god, okay, whatever. Oh my god, I keep pressing F. Pressing F for like Oh, to interact with stuff. No more combine. I don't think that is not an elevator. Nope. Okay, I don't know why I thought that was an elevator. God, and then I saw Hyundai around here. I know where you are. I know that you're here. Come on. Ah! Oh my god, I'm taking forever to do this, and I shouldn't. Oh my god. This game is really showing to the world that I'm a little stupid. Nah, I'm just jokes. There's someone on the other side. Oh, okay. I think this is gonna work. Okay, there's a Honda around here somewhere. Oh, what the fuck are you doing? I just want to look at my silly little boxes in peace. No one's letting me, unfortunately. Here you go. I feel like, okay, I'm gonna do one of these little things. Okay. I have to be very careful going back. I'll leave it there. Oops. Okay. I gotta go down there. Okay. My hand really hurts. Oh my god. That was very that wasn't very bright of me, and I'm really sorry. Oh my god. Fucking dog. Fuck off. I keep hearing the little, like... Yeah. Are you down here? No, you're up here, huh? Let's see. Let's see if you're up here. Oh my god! Sorry, as you can see, I hate those things.
Power 15%.
Okay.
Power 30%.
Oh, I think I'm back. I'm on the other side of where I'm supposed to be.
Power 45%. Power 60%.
Oh. There you go. Okay. Oops. Did it not work? Okay, it didn't work. We have to go the other side. I'm pretty sure, almost positive if I jump here, I don't go up. Okay. I kept treating it as like that fan from the other chapter. Yeah, I just didn't go up. That's the thing. Oh, no. Let's see. Okay. There you go. What's happening? What do I do now? Do I go back? Okay. There we go. That's me. Is it here? I feel like now I can do this. How do I get up there? Man, I wanted to use that fan so bad again. We have to get up. To keep going up. How the fuck are we going up again? Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. Excuse me. Thank you. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Can I get in here? No. $95, that's good. Okay, I'm on the other side now for the... Unfortunately, where all the enemy NPCs show up, I am going. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I think I don't know where I'm supposed to go. No, I killed him. I went through here. Yep. Let's go here again. Definitely not there, because there's nothing over there. This is where all of them were. I just got back from here. Maybe from? Yeah. Well... That's where I was, and then now I go up here. Nothing up here. I am very confused now. Oh no. I need to find where the lights are too. Okay, let's just go down here. I'm gonna follow these lights. That would be in my best interest. Well, I was here. Maybe here? Yeah? Oh no, I don't know where to go. Well, yeah, yeah, I think so, because I have to... That was the whole point, is to turn that on and then go back to the guy. Yeah. Forget my objectives sometimes. Because now we do that and we kill that thing. Yeah. There we go. Oh my god, it's fucking red beret Sorry. Did it work? Did that work? Thank god. Sorry. I got really mad there, sorry. Alright, let's go back to our guy. Oh, what the fuck did I hit? What the fuck? Alright. Alright.
I'm never gonna make it. You better go on without me.
No!
I'll just slow you down.
Oh, man. Are you sure? Can I talk? Okay. I'll leave. Okay. Let me save, because now I know for sure I have to, like... Through that door? I came through here. Oh, let's do this one though. Alright. Let's see. I need to figure out. I went through there. I have to go the other way. Okay. Nope. No. Maybe if we distract it? Didn't work. Okay. How the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. Ah! Okay. Evaporated. Wow. Okay. Let's reload. Okay, he's still there. I'm gonna leave this area so I could. Oh, there's a door? No. It's another of those instances where I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Oh, right here. Don't say that. That makes me sad. Filling on our second train run. What up?
Hey, it's Freeman, right?
Yes.
Hold up a sec. One of your scientist pals said they'd give you a message. You're supposed to take this old rail system up to some sort of satellite delivery rocket or something. I don't know where it is exactly. The old guy was so worried about getting out alive he didn't think to stop and tell me. Anyway, the main thing is, the military aborted the launch. So when you find the rocket, well, if you find the rocket, you'll have to get up to the control room and launch it yourself. He said something about a Lambda team needing the satellite in orbit if they were ever going to clean up this mess. Now, get going. I'm going to stick around and help any other stragglers.
Okay, I think this is a good place to stop. Ah, okay, yeah, let's stop. Yeah, okay, I think this is a good place, like I said. I'm gonna stop because this is a good place to story wise. I think this is where like this chapter is over, so we can next week hopefully we can start with a fresh chapter and any weekly stream. I'm I'm going by this game way faster than I thought I would. Despite not remembering a lot of the puzzles and gameplay mechanics and stuff. Obviously the story I do know it. But yeah, I'm taking a way faster time than what I expected to do. Excuse me. But yeah, I hope everybody had a great stream. Everybody have fun time on the stream. And that they, hope you guys had a chill Sunday during the day and you guys get to relax tonight and get ready for the work week. And I hope to see you guys again next week. I'm gonna try to be more consistent at least every Sunday to be, just to have like a weekly thing going and just be consistent with that. Because I do like it. It is fun, and even though they're not that long, they're less than 3 hours most of the time. I'm gonna try to go up like 3 hours at least one night or three. I'm gonna try to bump it up. But if I do that, I'm starting a little bit earlier. But these are really fun, and I'm gonna be doing these weekly around 6-7, so 6 or 7. So yeah. Anyway, I hope everybody had fun watching it. It's just chill streams of the delusion that Half-Life 3 is gonna happen. Just playing into the meme. Hope you guys have a great week and a great day and like a chill night. And I will see you guys next week. So